Hey guys, and welcome back. So, we're going to talk about monitoring the water meter today. And I think most of you should have this in your household. And I guess depending from the provider and depending from the country, at least in my previous experience, I had to read these numbers, the readings from the water meter manually every month. And I had a limited time period when I was able to do that. There was like 3 days per month, and then write it down to the provider again manually, which was like super annoying task to do. And what we're going to talk today is how we can monitor this with the Zabbix using AI monitoring kit by the InitMax, which is right now mirrored in my camera, but you can see that it's like quite a small box. And while I am talking about the basics of what AI Kit 1.0 actually is, I'm going to also show some unboxing video that I did before starting record this video. So as I started to say, the Monitoring AI Kit is a product that was firstly introduced by the InitMax, who are also official partner of the Zabbix, and this was one of the topics in one of the workshops in one of the Zabbix summits. And it's interesting because we touched the actual physical hardware, and the hardware looks like this. Well, it's just a small gadget that you connect to your Wi-Fi network, and therefore it gets connection to your Zabbix. And then it has this magic eye that can read the numbers from your water meter and report them to the Zabbix, so that first of all you have a clear analytics of your water consumption. And it not necessarily has to be water, it can also be like gas or something else. And then you also have a place where you can check all of the numbers whenever you know it's time to write them down for your provider, as example. So in the box, we have just a few things. At the top of the package, you'll find a small tool for loosening or tightening the camera. And that's something that you need to do in the beginning, because for the shipping safety, it's like on a little bit pill of something like a glue. So you need to get it loose. And we also have USB-C cable with USB-A adapter included for greater compatibility with different devices. At the bottom left is ESP32 module with a camera already mounted and secure. In the middle, you'll find a micro SD card with pre-installed base image for everything that we're gonna need. And on the right is the ESP32 CAM MB development board, which will be used to power the device via the USB cable. This connector also serves as a basic debug console and can be used for the firmware flashing if that is needed. Assembly is like super easy. We just grab the ESP32 model and the ESP32 CAM MB development board, and both parts must fit together firmly as shown in the picture. So they just go together with all of the sockets and pins. And the number of pins exactly matches the counterpart, so make sure that all the pins are fully inserted and properly aligned. If we check other instructions, like we need to remove the SD card, of course, which is inserted into an adapter. For demonstration purposes, the adapter is set to the locked write protected position. So if you will need to adjust some files on the SD card, don't forget to unlock it. It's the typical SD card thing that all of them have. And you will need to adjust a file in the SD card just to make sure that device is capable to connect to your Wi-Fi, because officially what we have in SD cards is some sample Wi-Fi SSID from the Zabbix Summit conference room. And you see this colored insert, like the blue one, that is going to be still used because it has this beautiful hole in top of the letter camera where you plug in the magic eye, which is going to read the numbers, and then you have a beautiful opportunity to just put the phone underneath with a simulated water meter that we can see here, and the QR code to the video is provided here, and then we can just play around with this setup. And as I said, you will need to adjust the SD card content, and more specifically, you're going to need to adjust WLAN.ini file, making sure that the device is capable to connect to your Wi-Fi. I already did that in the past. Mine is covered, but you're going to already see the examples there of SSID and a password. So just connect the SD card to your computer and find the WLAN.ini file and change the SSID and a password. And how to actually get this running and all of the configuration that we need to do. See here, the easiest way is to use web installer available at jumjal.github.io. So basically just open this URL and we're looking for a big blue connect button. Once you click here, it's very likely that for your first setup, you would not see what we're looking for. You would see it like this, and it means that we actually need to install the drivers. And to do that, we need to close the connection window. A pop-up will automatically appear offering to download the necessary drivers. Our device uses CH340C chip, so select CH340 for your operating system and install it. So like here, it's covered CH340, Windows or Mac. As I said, like I already have it installed. That's why I'm gonna click cancel here, gonna click connect here, and here is my USB serial already paired, and I'm gonna click connect. It is connecting, and I can either install AI on the edge, but I already have it installed. So basically I just click here to the logs in a console, and this one I'm gonna use to find out the IP address that my AI on the edge actually got, which is 192.168.1.30. So I'm going to wait a second while this loads, and then I'm going to try to open this IP address in a separate browser tab. So here I have opened the IP address that I just got here from the logs, which is 1.30, and I've already placed the mobile phone with a sample video that you can find where it is, that you can find in the same wiki. Here is the URL and also the QR code that you can scan, and here I have basically the picture of snapshot of the water meter, which is running the YouTube video on my mobile phone. And if we try to open it here, well, basically it looks like this. And if we follow the tutorial, the first thing that we need to do is a matter setting, and it suggests that we skip the wizard setup, and what we do is just grab the ending of URL and add it to your IP address. So what we need to do is go to the /edit config.html, and be aware that all of these settings with AI in a box are like a little bit slow, so be patient with all of this stuff. So we need to find what we need to change, and basically we need to change the LED intensity, and here set take image LED intensity to 0. This is mainly done for the workshop to prevent glare from phone screens. I've did this well for my setup, though it's not a workshop, and I'm not sure if that would have an effect, but just better follow the tutorial. In the post-processing section, set decimal shift to -3 because the first part of the meter display contains 3 decimal places. So again, if we check it here, we can see that there are 1, 2, 3 decimal places. Sorry, it's these the red ones, 1, 2, 3, which we are basically ignoring. Where to change it, as it was said, like post-processing, decimal shift, set it to -3. For the auto timer, we need to change the round interval to 1 minute, which basically means interval in which the flow digitalization round is run. If a round takes longer than this interval, the next round gets postponed until the current round completes. Once the settings are applied, here are the magic buttons. We save the config, and then it's required to reboot to activate the changes. So do that, and then we can continue. And to continue the actual configuration of the device, we need to open another URL, which is behind setup.html file, and then it's basically going through next. So you can read all of this information if that's relevant for you. Then we're looking for the next, adjust focus and verify the flashlight. And the focus obviously is done by adjusting the lens of the camera, which we can do both either by fingers or with a special tool, the plastic tool, which is attached into the box. And for me, I think it's actually pretty decent to continue. So we can click next, and then we have a couple of parameters where we can adjust the LED intensity, the brightness, the contrast, saturations. And basically the only thing that we need to take care of is we can change the rotation angle and click update. So the only thing that we need to make sure is that the digits are visible cleanly and they are on the same line without any different angles. and so on. And all of these steps that you need to fine tune are very cleanly defined in a wiki tutorial of the InitMax. So we need to adjust the markers, where the first one is like this, which I believe is a year or maybe just a serial number. Then we have the marker 2 of the meters, and all the digits here, so that we basically need to fill in the squares and align them here with the actual readings on the water meter, so that it looks just like this. And this red square basically represents of reading one of the numbers on a water meter, so that in the end it would look something like I have. So here we have the markers, here we have the numbers, and also the reading of this green circle, which just runs like a clock. And then how to verify that all of your setup is ready to be monitored with the Zabbix is basically, here we can see the raw value is 103.4727, 103, 47. That's kind of already enough for the reading, so that we can see that the values do make sense. And then it's a matter of setting up everything inside the Zabbix. And for Zabbix setup, I'm, as usual, a very lazy person, so I'm just using the Cloud Code, and I have my existing Zabbix project folder, and I'm just going to prompt to start local server. So once the Zabbix is running, we need a template, and template you can find in InitMax Zabbix templates Git repository, but basically we just go through the wiki page, and here in a Zabbix HTTP monitoring, and that's what we're gonna set up in this video. We have a URL. You can also find a template on our GitHub page. So basically what we need to do is download a template, then go to the data collection templates, and find, well, not find, you just basically need to, first of all, to import it. To import it, you click import button here, find the template that you downloaded, click yes, and then you have the template here. Then to actually set it up, I'm going to create some sort of the dummy host and create a host, water meter. I'm going to link it to Linux servers host group, whatever. I don't think we need an interface at this point, but we need to add a template here, ESP meter ESP32 by HTTP, and click add. Then go to the water meter. I think we need to go to the macros, inherited and host macro, ESP32 IP address, where we just grab the IP address of our water meter that we were using to configure the data. And I will click change here. And that's basically the only thing that we need to do, right? I don't think we even need to add this HTTP. So I will just add the IP address, click update, and let's try to execute some items. Execute a request sent successfully. Let's see how it goes. And there we go. So we are seeing the actual value, but the first item, daily consumption, is still not supported, just because it is a calculated item and it tries to subtract the value from 24 hours history, and we still don't have it because we set it up just a couple of minutes ago. Then for the second master item, we have this, and this one is very important because we need to get in a JSON error for no error, and that's the only way when this item HTTP status is going to be supported. Because if we open configuration of this item and go to the pre-processing, we can see that if data main error is no error, that's the only case when it actually returns the value. Otherwise, it returns the data main error. And if this item is not supported, then this item is also not supported. But right now I have waited enough for everything to work. So we can see the full JSON that we get. We can see the current meter value that it is reading, and we can see the consumption for every second. I guess that's the actual value. And the one thing that sometimes happens is, like, if we go back to the water meter, there's the previous value and the raw value. And if the previous value is higher than the raw value, then here in the error line, we get a negative value, which triggers again this not to work, which makes this not to work. And how to get over that, here in the settings, there is a set previous value. So we can just click update, and basically that fixes the problem. Overall, that's everything I wanted to show you today. I'm not gonna mess with MQTT, but that's also supported. And I think this is a cool thing that you can play around with, right? So let me know in the comments, do you like it? Do you want to get some set on your hands? And yeah, tell me what you think about it. Thank you guys for watching. See you again later.